Everyone at the petting zoo called Huxley the depressed ram, but nobody seemed to ask why. For nearly 10 years, the 300-pound ram stood in the same muddy corner of an open enclosure with no roof above him. Visitors tossed bread and leftover snacks over the fence while Huxley barely reacted anymore. After a while, he stopped looking up whenever crowds passed by. Ryan first met Huxley at that petting zoo. The ground around Huxley's enclosure was wet from several days of snow and rain. Most afternoons, the ram stood near the back fence with his head lowered, barely moving except to shift his weight from one sore leg to the other. At the sanctuary where Ryan worked, rescued animals often arrived nervous or defensive. Huxley was different. He mostly stayed quiet. Ryan began stopping by after work a few times each week. Some evenings he stood beside the fence, talking softly, while Huxley chewed dry hay without much interest. Other days they simply stayed there in silence together. People at the zoo fed Huxley whatever they carried in their pockets. Chips, bread, bits of popcorn. Over the years, he became severely overweight, and the extra weight made walking difficult. Ryan noticed that Huxley rarely crossed the enclosure anymore. Most days, he stayed close to the same corner. A few weeks later, Ryan and his team at Uncle Neil's home submitted a request asking for several neglected animals to be released into sanctuary care. On the 23rd of December 2021, the county approved Huxley's transfer. Ryan picked him up the following morning. The first night at the sanctuary was quiet. Huxley walked slowly around the enclosure before stopping beside a pile of fresh straw. He stood there for a long time before finally lying down. Over the next few weeks, small routines began forming around him. Fresh water every morning, medication hidden inside banana slices, clean bedding before sunset. At first, Huxley kept his distance from the other animals. If another sheep wandered too close, he usually stepped away after a few seconds. Years alone seemed to have settled into his habits. But little things changed gradually. Whenever the utility cart rolled across the pasture in the afternoon, Huxley started waiting near the gate instead of standing in the corner of the barn. Some mornings he followed the staff slowly during feeding time. Other days he preferred sitting quietly beneath the fence line, watching the rest of the sanctuary move around him. Years of poor nutrition had left him with osteoarthritis, so regular medical care became part of everyday life. The sanctuary built a small ramp to make cold mornings easier on his joints. By spring, Huxley spent most afternoons beneath a cherry tree near the pasture. Ryan often sat nearby while the ram rested in the shade, chewing hay slowly. Sometimes the other animals gathered there too. Sometimes Huxley stayed by himself a little longer before walking over. The staff never expected dramatic changes from him. Most progress appeared in quieter ways than that. A shorter pause before approaching people, a calmer reaction during treatment. The habit of waiting beside the barn door before bedtime each night. Huxley still moves slowly these days. He still needs regular care and medication. But every evening, before the pasture lights are turned off, he walks back toward the same straw bed waiting for him inside the barn. Some animals take a long time to feel comfortable with ordinary things. Caring for an animal with a difficult past requires patience, deep research, and a genuine commitment to their long-term well-being. If you felt a connection to Huxley's journey, please consider sharing his story, subscribing for more quiet moments, and supporting local animal sanctuaries in your own community today.